thing that makes you trans is you!
If you say that you are trans, then you 100% are trans.
Why did you turn your comments off? I'm glad you asked.
When content creators use high energy to teach people about identity, it usually comes from a desire to build bridges. But for Malfanos, known online as Fuzzz99, shouting at the camera, stomping around, and acting like an erratic cartoon character was how he hoped to become an internet sensation.
It's finally time! Spooky, spooky haircut. Spooky, spooky haircut. Spooky, spooky haircut. Spooky, spooky haircut.
That was the video of a 30-year-old, by the way. 2 years ago, he talked about how he came by the name Fuzz, relating a story from his 4th grade.
So I wanted a cool username too. And my little 10-year-old brain thought of Fuzz. And then when I was in 8th grade in social studies class, super bored out of my mind, the teacher put a movie on, super boring. Instead of paying attention and watching the movie, I took out my notebook and started drawing. And that's when I drew my first ever picture of Fuzz.
Fuzzz99 built a massive TikTok following under the guise of queer education, but his aggressive and somewhat childlike performance style did not bring people together. It actively segregated them. Instead of helping the LGBTQ+ community, his behavior was heavily criticized for pushing queer acceptance back decades by turning identity into an annoying, hostile caricature. Beyond that, he became embroiled in dark allegations after his behavior toward minors came under a microscope. Eventually, he would get fired from his job, not because of some haters, as he would have people believe, but because he crossed major professional boundaries. It is therefore safe to say that the constant desperation to act in a certain kind of way cost him what would have otherwise been a stable job. So this video will explore the life of a content creator who trapped himself in a desperate cycle of performance addiction. Before you can understand what went wrong, you have to understand what you are actually looking at when a Fuzzz99 video appears on your screen, because the content itself is the key to understanding everything else that follows.
Asking my family.
Answer.
Fuzzz99's content is defined by a performance style that is so loud and so physically aggressive that people who encounter it for the first time genuinely cannot believe it is real. Every single video starts with him stomping his foot hard enough to shake the camera, throwing his arms in the air like he is at a concert, and then getting so close to the lens. For some, this is purely performative.
Why do I call myself gay if my pronouns are he, they, and I'm dating a girl? Well,
He frequently yells at the camera, stomps his feet, and adopts childish mannerisms throughout the video. Many people find this annoying.
Wanna be in my next YouTube video? Then ask a question.
Me and my queer friends are answering every question that you guys ask in the comments. So ask any queer questions that you might want to know the answer to. We got trans, gay, queer, lesbian, so ask any question that you have. And don't ask a question about my appearance, that's a waste of a question. We got all kinds of queer friends joining us, and it's not just me, okay? Ask silly, goofy questions. So, what's everybody's favorite animal? Ask serious questions. How did all of you come out to your parents? Ask whatever your heart desires. Just don't be rude, bro. If somebody asks the same question as somebody else, though, we will only be answering the person who asked first. So just keep that in mind. Ask away. Yup, just ask away. I'm nervous.
It is therefore not surprising that you typically find that in comment sections, in stitches, and in reaction videos, people consistently describe watching Fuzzz99 content as a physical experience that leaves them somewhere between irritated and genuinely distressed. Generally, his content covers genuinely useful LGBTQ plus topics. However, people do not find his videos irritating because of the LGBTQ content. He typically explains the sexuality spectrum. For example, he explains what omnisexual means, breaks down the difference between gender and pronouns, teaches people about pride flags, and covers queer history dating back centuries. On paper, what he is doing should be valuable.
What's omnisexual? And why the heck does their flag look like this? Well, people who identify as omnisexual fall under the bi umbrella, which means they share a lot of similarities with other.
However, there are some problems, typically because some of his videos might be overly sexual, just like when he was talking about what top and bottom mean. You would expect that they are not appropriate for kids.
Guessing your sexuality or gender based off your favorite Mario Kart character. Ah! I have never seen anyone in the LGBTQ community use Mario before, so if Mario's your favorite Mario Kart character, you're straight! If your favorite Mario Kart character is Luigi, you're fruity. I'm sorry, but you're fruity. If Peach is your fave, you're either straight, a femme gay, or just gay. Either way, you're a badass hoe. Oh! Yoshi! If Yoshi is your favorite, you give me Pan vibes. You're Pan. Shy Guy! You're non-binary! Hey! Hey! I love this homie. If you use dry bones, you're a trans man. The perfect man's. I get major bi vibes here. You use Inkling Boy? The best character! You're either gender fluid or gay.
But he fails in this aspect. He does not categorically state that his videos are unsuitable for kids, and sometimes he even targets younger audiences. Just like this video where he acts like a counselor in a setting that looks like a children's camp, making it look like it was created for kids.
Hey homie! Welcome to your second day of camp, baby! Woo! Alright, let's see. Do you remember your magic bracelet number? Let's see. You were a little close. Your bracelet number 101, baby. Don't forget it. All right, here, ready? Catch it. Ready? Hey, you did it! All right. So yesterday, I talked about our Summer Olympics and how we're gonna be competing against other teams at different Olympic games during the summer, and whoever gets the most points wins the competition. Hey! So our team color this year is rainbow, and the team talked, I looked in the comments, and we all agreed that we want to be the Rainbow Fuzzballs. So we gotta design our flag, so start thinking about what y'all want to do. A big fuzzball, a little fuzzball, lightning bolts.
The other problem is that the delivery drowns out the message completely. There is so much noise, so many stomps, so many arm throws, so many close-up moments where his face fills the entire screen that by the time he gets to the actual information, most viewers have already either tuned out or been driven off entirely.
Let's talk about queer!
But, Bo, what is, queer?
I'm glad you asked!
Although it is important to acknowledge the fact that people can always offer a unique way to educate others on a subject, Fuzz's antics make it difficult for anyone to pay attention. Beyond these two major problems, he has also developed a habit of explaining the same concepts over and over again across different videos, each repackaged with a different haircut or outfit. Basically, he has no real content. He has explained what omnisexual means at least 20 times. He has covered pansexual versus bisexual enough times that people have started counting. The repetition is so consistent that it has become its own form of comedy for people who watch him.
Genders. But unlike pansexuals, omnisexuals actually do have a preference for gender.
Does this mean that they can be attracted to everybody?
Heck yeah! But they just might have a preference for who they want to be in a relationship with. And again, not every omnisexual is the same as all the other omnisexuals.
We're all different fluid individuals.
And we love our omnisexual.
And then there are the haircut videos, which quite frankly you'd think are out of range for who he portrays himself to be, but he somehow managed to find a connection with his content style. Fuzz calls his haircuts gender adventures, and that was how spooky haircuts became a thing.
It's time. Spooky haircut. Spooky.
Every year he makes the same videos all about his spooky haircuts.
It's finally time! Spooky.
But maybe he does all of these for the money. He used to have his Venmo and Cash App on there, which can only mean one thing. He is actively soliciting donations. But then he needed the funds. He was living with his parents and made content from his childhood bedroom. But since he has a fan base that are called Fuzzballs, a name he gave them and treats as though it carries genuine meaning and community weight, he decided he might as well take advantage of that. He celebrates their birthdays. He thanks them for their support in videos that always soon switched into screaming.
And chaotic and loving family.
But the whole idea of Fuzzball being a loving and caring family soon vanished after he locked his comments. How much of a loving and supportive family are they if he had to turn off the comments? That remains to be seen. But we will look more into the details of this deep into the video. Somewhere in here, buried under years of foot stomps and close-up shots and repeated explainers about pansexuality, there is a person who clearly started out wanting to do something meaningful. His information is accurate. His passion for the subject matter is real. When he talks about LGBTQ plus history or explains why certain identities matter to people who have never felt seen, you can hear how genuine he is if you look beyond the screaming and shouting. But that does not matter because the presentation makes it impossible for that sincerity to land. You cannot educate someone who has already slammed the back button. But there was another problem. A big problem which he hadn't realized, but one that cost him the backing of the LGBTQ community. There's a version of what Fuzz was doing that could have worked. A loud, expressive, unapologetically queer creator making educational content for people who wanted to understand LGBTQ plus identity. That version of the channel could have been valuable, but that is not what actually happened. What actually happened is that Fuzzz99 frequently alienated a broader audience by displaying open hostility towards straight and cisgender people in his content, turning what should have been an educational platform into something that read more like an US versus them broadcast. In one video, he directly addressed the question of whether being straight was desirable, and his answer was, it's like blah, cause like nobody wants to be straight.
It's like blah, cause like nobody wants to be straight.
Yeah.
He said this while claiming in other videos that his platform was built on acceptance and inclusivity, which gave his critics all the contradiction they needed. In another video, he fueled hate and violence against people. He said directly that given the violence the queer community has faced from straight and cisgender people, it makes total sense why there's a lot of hate toward them as a group.
Because we are all humans, but I'm glad you asked. From my perspective, it makes a lot of sense why there's a lot of hate on straight cis people. Growing up for me, there was no representation of the LGBTQ community anywhere. We had Ellen, but as a kid, I can't really relate to Ellen. So when I grew up and realized I was a part of the LGBTQ community, I was kind of upset we didn't have a lot of representation in media. And then when I learned about a lot of leaders that came before us in the community, and people who are our age and a part of our community, who were all killed and are killed every day from cis straight people who don't understand us and have a hate so strong against us because of who we are as people, it makes a lot of sense why people in our community don't like straight cis people.
He basically framed broad resentment toward all straight people as a reasonable response to the actions of a few guys. That's not all. He also said in one video that his content was for the gays, not the straights, after someone called him out on his discriminatory content, making his claims of being an inclusive educator difficult to take seriously. You cannot hold an open classroom with a sign on the door that says certain students are not welcome.
My content is for the gays, not the straights.
The queer community noticed this too, and this is where something unusual happened that most internet dramas do not produce. The backlash against Fuzzz99 was not primarily driven by conservatives or homophobes, even though that is the narrative he has pushed. It was driven in large part by queer people themselves.
Queer teachers are under attack and are constantly being targeted and kicked out of the classrooms for being who they are and for helping students feel welcomed for who they are.
In October 2022, a Twitter user posted a clip of Fuzz saying nobody wants to be straight with the caption, "This is top 2 worst TikTok accounts and it ain't number 2. This reaction to his video was met with utter embarrassment. Comments in the thread said things like, "I do not claim this." People who identified as gay, trans, or non-binary made videos explaining that this was not the kind of representation they wanted. One of the comments on the X post categorically stated that it was a poor representation of the community. I don't really care about them as a person. I care more about how people scapegoat this person to make us all look bad as an entire community, because this one person annoys them a little. It's frustrating that people like this person get in the scope of so many who push hate. The criticisms were not from conservatives, but from members of the LGBTQ community themselves. The criticism was consistent. By reducing LGBTQ plus advocacy to a loud, erratic, and childlike display, Fuzz's content treated queer identity like a joke, giving homophobes easy ammunition to mock the entire community. They were right. His content was polarizing to a large extent. Videos like "Eating All My Homophobic Neighbors" and "The Queer Olympics" use loud, edgy, and high-intensity presentation to farm cheap engagement from a deeply divided comment section.
Too many people running around. Oh, I can put the glasses back on. I can't drop my clothes again though. Grandma Maud, you're already so old. Like, you've lived a long life, okay? You're really sweet. I'm a Miss Johnson for you, though. If me and Miss Johnson hit it off and she becomes my wife, I'd be okay with that. All right. Well, actually, I think she's married. I think it was MRS. You remind me of my ex.
Then you begin to wonder what even is the point of that video. What does it achieve? The comment section of her video titled "My Real Life Ghost Story" is even more damning. One of the commenters says, "If I was a ghost, I would have haunt you for life." One thing remains certain: the aggressive delivery guarantees that anyone genuinely looking to learn is immediately driven away, leaving only an audience of pure hate watchers, reinforcing why the LGBTQ community rejected his style of content in the first place. TikTok gaze. B, like we bullied a queer creator off the platform because we thought they were annoying, and then something happened that turned the audience's segregation problem into something genuinely serious, something that moved from the comment section into the real world to the extent that it cost him his job. The reason for the backlash Fuzz faced was simple. His content looks more targeted at kids than at adult viewers, because really no adult is watching this.
Years ago, when I was just 13 years old, celebrating another wonderful summer vacation during middle school, me and my best friend wanted to have a sleepover. But of course, because I wanted to have a sleepover with my friends, my 2 younger brothers wanted to have sleepovers with their friends too. Ugh. Thus, the tale of the haunted ghost sleepover begins.
One of the commenters expressed the same sentiments. Gonna be honest, at 28, just stop, right? No one our age is gonna watch this and be like, "Wow, this is funny. I'm serious. You're just trying to entertain kids. I don't know who else would enjoy this." So it was not surprising that in 2022, serious allegations began circulating that Fuzzz99 had been having inappropriate contact with minors. However, these allegations were never proven. No victim ever came forward publicly with documented evidence. No charges were ever filed, and no legal action was ever taken against him. While I get your point, why do a 26-year-old want an audience of children? They even said that at their full-grown age, their best friend is still at his high school. It's weird. But people could not help but look at his videos and be scared for their children. So the allegations spread fast and stuck hard, partly because of the timing, partly because of the style of the content, and partly because of something nobody had fully considered until the accusations started flying: the nature of his job. The issue is not just that people thought his content was inappropriate for kids. It was that many people looked at how he presented himself, the childlike mannerisms, the cartoon energy, the finger guns, the clapping games, and bouncing, and came to the uncomfortable conclusion that this content was not just reaching children accidentally. It looked like it was designed for them.
A lot of people have been asking me this, and I'm not sure that everyone's gonna like my answer, but if your oobies make you uncomfortable at any age, 10, 11, 12, 64, you can try to bind. However, if you are young and you're just starting to go through puberty, or you're already going through puberty, say it with me now. Your body is still growing. So if you get a binder and you want to try it and then you don't like it, that's fine. But If you do get your binder and you're like, well, I love this, and you need to be cautious that your body is still growing and you may need to size your binder up if it starts to hurt. And if you start to bind all the time, you gotta tell your doctor so they know to keep an eye out on you.
One of the more damning critiques came from a commentary creator who pointed out that the overall behavior, speech patterns, mannerisms, and aesthetics of his videos were exactly what a 4-year-old would be watching on something like Blue's Clues or Blippi.
Behavior, the speech, the mannerisms, the aesthetics of these videos are that of what my 4-year-old son would be watching in terms of Blue's Clues or Blippi. Which begs the question of why? Why? Why are you trying to reach an audience of that age and that maturity? And in doing so, talking about the things you are talking.
The question then became why someone covering topics related to gender identity and attraction would choose to present them in the same visual and audio language as children's programming. Just like the time he guessed people's sexuality based on their favorite Mario Kart character. That was a red flag. But then something else added to the red flags, making Fuzzz99 a no-go area for people. While screaming off the internet in this childlike manner, Fuzzz99 also maintained a day job as a substitute school teacher. He worked in the Worcester Public Schools district in Massachusetts, bouncing between high schools as a substitute from around 2021 to early 2023. He talked about it constantly on TikTok. He posted videos about going back to school and shared stories about interactions with his students.
Always and at the end of the day at school, like, I can't even tell you how many high fives I got, how many daps I got, and like there is truly
Before that, in the summers of 2020 and 2021, he worked as a camp counselor at youth camps for kids, aged 12 to 18.
Alright, so like I don't mean to brag, but okay, so like I went to camp every single summer, every year until I could become a camp counselor in training, and then yes, I did become a camp counselor. So 16 to 24, I don't know how many years that is. I can't do math. I'm unfortunately gay. Ooh. I am on a plaque in my town hall though, so like that's kind of cool. My name is literally in the town hall because I was the best at what I do. And then I literally just have a whole drawer filled with camp shirts. This one's one of my faves. All my kids signed it in washable marker and then it washed away in the wash. But like, that's okay. It's still my favorite shirt. Whew. The camp stories I could tell on here. Whew. Definitely gonna have to tell some soon.
The language he used when talking about his students was what started to unsettle people. In 2021 and 2022, he began posting videos using the phrase, "my gay kids." In one video he said, "I had a bunch of my gay kids that I had last year in the class, and the way their faces lit up when they saw me this morning made me feel so good."
Guess who had their first day back 7 at school today? I did. So right off the bat, for first period, I had a bunch of my gay kids that I had last year in the class. And the way their faces lit up when they saw me this morning, y'all, it made me feel so good and reminded me why I love to do what I do. And like all day, just seeing everyone throughout the day just made me so happy. Overall, I miss my kids and I'm so happy to be back.
This made people start to question what he was really teaching the kids in class. Were they all just sitting around talking about sexuality when they should be receiving an education? Because of this, people felt he had no business being in school, let alone teaching kids. Bro shouldn't be able to work with kids, to say the least. He constantly mentioned his substitute teaching on TikTok. His students found his TikTok, which he also mentioned on TikTok. Problems arose when he completely failed to separate his real-world authority over minors from his hyperactive online creator persona, which is why people felt apprehensive about the fact that he never really clarified his target demographics. I feel like they didn't have a set demographic, which is what also played a role in their downfall. Some videos seemed like they were geared toward a younger, childlike audience, for example, the skit about the claw machine. Then they would post videos about sexuality, which would cater to teens and young adults. Then they would make videos discussing their position during top, bottom, and dating, which is obviously not for the younger audience. They didn't stick to one demographic, so people realized their audience of young kids was watching videos about and sexuality. Maybe not everyone thought this and forced Maul off the internet just because they were annoying, but I 110% understand if there was a deeper concern about this person's content. The turning point in his teaching career came when he began violating strict classroom boundaries by using his actual students as background elements or as inspiration for his content. He let the art club students paint his face and then posted about it online, which the school flagged as inappropriate. There was also an incident during his time as a camp counselor in which he shared a video of a conversation he had with a young camper about gender identity. The content of the conversation was presented warmly, but the problem with that was that he had basically violated the kid's trust and privacy. Their story was not supposed to be content. That was something he never quite figured out.
I was sitting with one of my campers in the art room today drawing pictures, and there was a moment when it was just me and them at the table, and they were like, Mom, are you a boy or a girl? Oh, I'm neither. I'm just me. Huh. Just me? I kinda like that. I think I'm just me too. Sometimes I just like to wear boys' clothes and not girls' clothes. That's cool. I love that. Really? Oh, of course. I love that.
It was easy to see why some parents would be scared to have their children around her, as some might see this as a way to them. Moreover, this completely compromised the safety, privacy, and professional environment that a school and a camp require of their employees. People simply could not let go of all of these, and the dots were connecting in real time. And the fact that they are a substitute teacher and talking about being top and bottom in one video, and then talking about their gay kids, their words not mine, in the next video, while the allegations never produced any evidence, what people were pointing to was a pattern of behavior and content choices that, taken together, looked extremely bad even without any single act of wrongdoing.
I completely forgot about my homophobic gym teacher that I had in high school until me and my...
When the school district eventually fired him for what they are described as conduct violations and boundary issues, Fuzz took to social media to control the narrative. In a 20-minute YouTube video titled "The Truth, A Hater Got Me Fired," he attempted to frame his termination as an act of discrimination against his identity, completely deflecting from the reality of his own unprofessional conduct.
I was recently hate crimed for being queer. And as a result of me being hate crimed for being queer, it ultimately led to me being fired from my job as a high school substitute teacher. I hate making content like this. I love making people laugh and smile and forget about all their troubles. I love helping people feel comfortable in their bodies and always preach that there's nothing ever wrong with being you, and that you should always identify and do the things that make you happy and feel most like you.
According to the account he gave in that video, a hater on the internet had dug through thousands of his old 2020 videos, found thirst trap content he had posted before he was even a teacher, and emailed screenshots of those videos to his school's HR department. He described this as a hate crime.
Complaining and wanting you fired. Knowing the haters too, they probably also threatened the school in some way too. Wow, I can't believe this. Yeah, that person went through thousands upon thousands of my videos to find these. In my first 2 years alone, I was putting out 2 to 3 videos every single day of the week, and even on holidays. Those videos are buried. They aren't active videos. They are not being pushed by the algorithm. They are dead. I highly doubt a parent here or student here would have gone through and watched.
What the video glossed over was the fact that, according to the investigation, which included leaked details from HR meetings, the school had actually warned him a full year before the firing about his online presence. Freshmen had been writing his TikTok username on classroom whiteboards. The school had specifically told him that what he posted online represented the school. He had been flagged for the art club face painting post. Hence, the old videos were not the reason he was fired. They were the final piece of a file that had been in the making for over a year. He was not fired for being queer. He was fired for repeatedly failing to maintain the separation between his influencer life and his role as an educator. But Fuzzz99 never corrected the record. He kept pushing the hate crime narrative, claimed the decision was made by white cisgender men who did not understand him, and presented himself as a martyr for queer teachers everywhere.
However, knowing the decision was up to the superintendent, who is a white cis older male and who I've never met and has no idea who I am or what I look like, and the principal, who is also a white cis male who gave me the vibes that they were not the biggest fan of me and never really knew how to interact with me because of who I am, made me feel like the chances of me not getting fired were very low. A few days after the meeting, however, my art teachers all reached out.
That was when a lot of people in the LGBTQ plus community started pulling away, because weaponizing your identity to dodge accountability does not just hurt you. It makes it harder for people who actually face discrimination to be believed when they speak up. Whenever public scrutiny or professional consequences caught up with Fuzzz99, his content shifted dramatically. The foot stomps slowed down, the catchphrase disappeared, the screaming was replaced with something that looked a lot like a performance of vulnerability.
A bro that likes. Hey, me too, bro. You really think that's what that means? Alright, fine. What is it? We do this every time. I'm glad you asked. People who identify as abrosexual are fluid with their sexualities. What? Like gender fluid, abrosexual friends one day might feel pan, but then the next day they might feel asexual. And a week later they could just be gay. Their sexualities are fluid. Does this mean they're fluid with all the sexualities? Some. Every abrosexual is different. And we love our abrosexual friends!
He relies heavily on what people in his comment sections started calling crying videos, emotionally charged updates about severe mental breakdowns, difficult personal moments, and the weight of being hated online. These would appear right when the criticism was loudest and the audience was most skeptical, effectively shifting the viewer's role from critic to sympathizer. Other times, he would try to give a calm, philosophical explanation of what was going on. In 2022, when the allegations were at their most intense, Fuzz completely shut down his comment sections and temporarily vanished from the platform without explanation. No statement, no clarification, no receipts, just silence. The silence was so loud that some content creators on TikTok had to start making videos asking about him. Later, he came back with a video explaining that he had been advised by police to step back from TikTok. He said there had been a serious incident with a hater. He provided no details.
I really hate to come on here to make this video, and I really don't want to, because I know that a lot of you out there still really enjoy and like my videos, and they make your day and they make you smile, and that's all I've ever wanted in life. Unfortunately, this morning I had a really bad incident with a hater and had to get the police involved. A lot of people in my life know my current situation right now, and I wish I could talk about it more, but I don't want to and can't really get into it. But I currently am being advised by the police to take a step back from TikTok. I have to take a break for a little while until a lot of this hate calms down. It might be a week, it might be a month, it might be a year, it might be forever. I truly don't know how long of a break that I'm going to take or have to take. Before I go though, I did want to talk about two major assumptions that the haters are making about me and just clarify things, because I just want to clarify, because I was gonna make a video this week to talk about it, but obviously I have to leave now. So, real quick. One, I've never once said that my content is for kids or that my intent has been to make content for kids. Most people don't know this, but you have to be at least 13 years old to even make or have a TikTok account. And TikTok makes your account private until you're at least the age of 16. If a kid does find my TikToks, that is out of my control. From that point on, it's on the parents' duty to be in charge of monitoring what their kids are watching and doing. I make my content to be family friendly and wholesome because that's who I am, and I want to be inclusive to everyone out there. And I want people to know that this is a safe place where they can ask any question they want and they won't get judged. Secondly, I never said I hate straight people. I literally said, like, who would want to be straight? Blech. And like, I literally do not know how to stress this enough. My content is for the gays, not the straights. And as a gay person who grew up thinking they had to be straight, who never saw 1 ounce of any kind of LGBTQ representation in any media, who hated themselves when they realized they were gay, and wished and prayed that they weren't, and then almost took their fucking life, and then after a long time eventually learned and accepted that it was okay to be gay and that you can love who you want to love. Yeah, I would never want to go back to being straight or ever be straight. And a lot of gay people who I make these videos for and who have gone through the same exact things feel the exact same fucking way. So I'm sorry to all the straight people who I offended, but y'all need to realize that the straights have not been kind to us, and I would not give up loving the person I love for anything in this world.
The announcement said it might be a week, a month, a year, or forever. It was delivered in a completely different register from his usual content, a soft, subdued, somber voice that most of his viewers had never seen before. But then he was back way sooner. When he eventually came back and fans asked why he had locked down communication, he said it was not because of the hate or the pressure. He instead made it seem like a strategic decision, saying he had bigger plans in motion.
Hi. Why did you turn your comments off? Oh, well. Glad you asked. So, first, I would like to say that no, it is not because I got too much hate and couldn't handle it. I promise, I am okay. But I do appreciate all of the people that sent me kind words and lovely DMs, because it means more to me than y'all will ever know. And I truly love y'all, like, so much, like, for real. But I turned comments off because there's a bigger plan already in motion, baby, that only I know about. So stay tuned, baby.
He then posted a video with the caption, "Don't get me wrong, the hate hasn't slowed down at all and it's still quiet. A lot for me, most days. However, I promise I am going to fix this for us and bring back our safe space, so please stay strong for a little while. My amazing fuzzballs, I love y'all so much." No one ever found out what the plan was because there was no plan. That answer was designed to make people feel like he was in control of a situation and he clearly was not. And to reframe his retreat as a strategic move rather than what it looked like. When his TikTok account was eventually banned, he posted about it on Instagram stories, framing the ban as the work of organized homophobes mass reporting him. He used this narrative even as he said in the same story that TikTok had never given him a reason for the ban. He was simultaneously certain of why it happened and acknowledged that he had no information about it.
Harassed every day by thousands of hateful people.
He threatened to pursue legal action against TikTok for wrongful termination. Multiple commenters pointed out that signing up for TikTok meant agreeing to terms that allowed TikTok to ban any account at any time without providing a reason. None of that information changed the narrative he was presenting. The consistent pattern across all of these moments is that Fuzzz99 is never wrong, never at fault, and never responsible for what happens to him. Every consequence has an external cause. Every criticism comes from hatred. Every ban is a conspiracy. Every firing is discrimination. The accountability never lands. And the queer community that he claimed to represent has noticed this more than anyone, because the consequence of someone constantly playing the victim of anti-queer discrimination without evidence is that the people who face actual anti-queer discrimination become slightly harder to believe. Fuzzz99 is currently trapped in a classic performance addiction loop, and watching it play out in real time is a genuinely uncomfortable experience.
It's time! Jolly haircut, jolly haircut, jolly haircut time! No, we're not gonna get a spooky haircut, cause it's Christmas time! Hey, jolly haircut, jolly haircut, jolly haircut time! Let's go!
He continues to post from the same childhood bedroom in Massachusetts, surrounded by the same rainbow posters and the same cluttered desk, doing the same double foot stomp, and the same "I'm glad you asked" opening he has used since 2020. Nothing has changed. Not the delivery, not the topics, not the energy level, not the distance from the camera.
It's finally time! Spooky, spooky haircut! Spooky, spooky haircut! Spooky, spooky haircut! Spooky, spooky haircut!
He has around 453,000 followers on TikTok, which sounds significant until you look at what those numbers actually represent. After his comeback from his hiatus, his page was never the same. Now, he went from consistently having millions of views on a video to barely scratching 50,000, and then his likes have dropped drastically. Most of the time, his videos struggle to get 1,000 likes. Basically, his loving and caring fuzzball are all gone, and most of what is left of his followers are people who watch his content just to have a laugh at him. The comments on his recent videos are not from fans. They are from people asking why why he is still on the platform, or who just have negative comments about whatever he was doing. Dude, stay TF away from all kids. I can't believe they let you in a classroom. Video reported for promoting violence. The irony he seems completely unable to recognize is that his most viewed TikTok, the one that earned him nearly 10 million views, was the comments off video where he showed up unannounced to announce he was turning his comments off. That video was watched by millions of people specifically because it was a new and interesting kind of disaster for them to observe. Clearly was not watched by his beloved fuzzballs. His seasonal content, videos centered around what he calls spooky aesthetics, his jolly haircut videos, and his themed gender adventures have completely worn thin as a gimmick. The first time someone watches a Fuzzz99 spooky haircut video, it is unusual enough to hold attention. By the 50th spooky haircut video, it is just evidence of someone who ran out of ideas in 2021 and has been recycling the same 3 concepts ever since.
It's finally time! Spooky haircut. Spooky haircut. Spooky haircut. Spooky haircut. Boo! I will always love doing that. I don't know if your barber does house calls, but mine does.
Uber haircut for Mac?
Oh, hell yeah, let's go! And we wouldn't be having our spooky haircut this year without him. So thank you, Danny. I love you, bro. And he's here? I have no idea what Danny designed in my head. So without further ado, let's check it out. Ooh, spooky. Ooh, spooky. Oh, do I look good, baby? Bro, that pumpkin, dude. Show him again. Oh, yo, that looks sick as fuck, dude. That looks sick, yo.
That's what I was saying.
Bro, I look sick, bro. Let's get it. Happy spooky season! Woo! Yeah.
His YouTube channel, where he posts longer content, is even quieter. Videos on it have low view count-ins and comment sections that are either turned off entirely or full of the same hate that drives his TikTok numbers. In 2025, he announced a name change. He had been going by Maul for several years, which he said was a nickname derived from his original name. His new name is Mac.
Is there a difference between trans men and trans mask people? Hey, what up? I'm Mac. I'm trans mask, and I'm glad.
The most devastating aspect of his current situation is his complete isolation from the community he spent 6 years trying to represent. The LGBTQ+ community has almost entirely rejected him, not because he is queer, but because of what his presence on their behalf did to how they are perceived. When his name comes up in queer spaces now, it is either used as a punchline or as an example of what performative advocacy looks like when it goes catastrophically wrong. Every conservative talking point about queer people being mentally unstable and being inappropriate around children, Fuzzz99 accidentally validated every single one of them. Not because any of those things are true about queer people generally, but because he made such a consistently bad argument against them that his opponents did not need to construct a case. They could just point to him. He still posts as though none of this happened. He still opens with the foot stomp and the catchphrase. He still refers to his audience as fuzzballs. He still documents his gender adventures and haircuts and birthday messages with the same breathless all-caps urgency he has always used. There's something genuinely sad about watching someone this locked into a performance that stopped landing years ago, who does not seem to know how to be anything else. In 2020, he probably genuinely wanted to help people and make a difference. The platform became more important than the message somewhere along the way. And now, he is just a person screaming and shouting.
I want to start going by a different name, but I don't know where to start or what to do. My insides just feel like, Mac, tell me what to do.
Malfano set out to be an educator. What he became was a cautionary tale, not about queerness or LGBTQ+ identity, but about what happens when a person becomes so addicted to the attention that comes from performing those things loudly that they lose any ability to examine whether the performance is actually helping anyone. The community he claimed to represent moved on without him. The job he used to ground himself in the real world is gone. The followers he spent 6 years accumulating watch mostly out of habit or a morbid curiosity. And in that same childhood bedroom with those same rainbow posters on the walls, he stomps his foot, gets close to the camera, and asks if you're glad you asked.
Hey, that's me!
In his desperate hunt for TikTok algorithms, Malfanis alienated the very community he claimed to represent, treated his real-world students like content props, and ruined a legitimate teaching career.
Is this how baby no money feels?
And now, all he does is celebrate getting 10,000 followers on Instagram.
Alright, moment of truth. Here we go. There's no turning back, man. Here we go. Let's click it. Yeah! Let's go! Let's go! Holy cow, bro. Holy cow. It's 10K, dude. 10,000. 10,000 buzzballs. That's crazy. That's crazy, dude.
He became a cautionary tale of how not to be a content creator. Now, people who watch his video do so just to have a laugh.